Tuesday, excuse me, another Tuesday of Homebuyer Academy Live. I'm your boy, Mo or Less, Mr. Mo or Less here with Chad Murray. What's good, Chad? What's going on today?
Brother, man, I'm doing blessed, man. I'm doing really, really well, man. Happy to
Hey,
be here again.
another Tuesday.
How you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. Had a mute on the other screen watching, but I'm doing great today, man. Just another day in as they call it paradise.
Yeah, man.
Beautiful sunshine state of Florida. Doing good, man.
Yeah,
How about yourself?
man. So happy to be here again. Another episode of Home Buyer Academy, where
Mm,
we get an opportunity to really demystify the home buying process and work with you through each phase of the journey, so
mm,
that not only will you get to your goals, but you won't have to get there alone.
mm. Perfect, perfect. And we like to start off with some gratitude. Let's start as we get settled into today's message, today's learning, today's episode. Just take a moment to reflect on your life. I know we checked in on each other, but if you're in the comments and you're watching, just take a moment to just think about your day so far. What are you grateful for? Chad, I'm gonna toss it over to you. What are you grateful for today?
Brother, man, I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my children. Have a whole bunch of them. And they're all crazy, but I would have it no other way. It's been an absolute gift to my life, and I'm so inspired to be able to do what I do on a day to day. So yeah, man, my life is gratitude.
Mm. Oh man, that's powerful. My life is gratitude. That's
Yeah,
yeah, I feel that, man. I feel that because I'm in that similar space. Like things could be worse. They can get better, but I'm just so content and grateful for my life right now. Like if I didn't have anything more, I'm great. But God has continued to bless us, man. I love my family, love my kids, man. I'm so grateful for my kids. Like I love this dad life, man. So yeah, I'm grateful for these kids, man. They're awesome.
yeah, man. No doubt. You got
Who we
some
do
pretty.
it for too.
Yeah, right. So, what we want to do at this point is I want to take a time for us to really get connected to why we do this, right?
Mhm,
So, my focus is to really empower, or our focus is to empower home ownership, especially in communities where home ownership feels right outside of reach.
mhm,
And what I've found is that there are a lot of connections between how people look at themselves and the goals that they actually set. A majority of the people that we work with have credit issues, have financial limitations that have them feel as if they're not ready or worthy for home ownership. But what I want to share is that home ownership is something that's more than possible for you. But more than that, what I really want to share is that all of the obstacles that you have lived through to get you to this point are a test and a challenge of what you got inside of you.
mhm,
Your bad credit doesn't mean that you're a bad person. Your limited funds doesn't mean that you've been totally irresponsible. What it takes for us to be able to elevate and to go to a next space is to see and to believe and then to act.
mhm,
Take a look on your block. Look to the left, look to the right. There, you could see people who are in a similar situation, or in many cases, a worse situation. They were able to find the resolve to get all the way through the process. No reason why you can't.
mhm,
Believe. It's not far fetched that you can see yourself as a homeowner. But what you might see before you see that is a credit score, or somebody at a bank or a financial institution telling you no. And what I want to invite you to say is that that no wasn't a declaration of anything about you, but it was free information. No, your credit isn't ready just yet. No, you haven't saved enough money just yet. But I want to invite you to the reality that by starting from where you are now and getting connected to the people, the resources, and the tools to get you to the next space, with that consistency and belief in within yourself, you will get to your home. Next time, that's
What?
a zoom in. Next time, maybe we really past the
Oh,
90.
I didn't know it was gonna go that that long.
And as you can see, we figuring it out as we're going. But we know, like for me, this is something that's always been on my spirit on a consistent basis, where I've been called to like share this information. So uh, I'm 43 years old, and the reason why I mention that is because I don't feel like it. I don't think I look like it. But I started when I was 19, and when I started, like other 19-year-olds in a position to get in money or young people, it was about the money. But what I saw was that home ownership offers so much more, not just the ability to gain wealth, right? But what it does for your family is stability, security, and a foundation that so much more can come from. And if you give yourself the belief and you believe that it can happen, and you pray on it and you meditate on it, all of the pieces that you need to make this happen are going to come to you. And we want to be right there for you to be able to support you in every phase of the journey. So start today by seeing yourself as a homeowner. Start today by calling yourself a homeowner. And before long, hopefully we'll be getting an invitation to the housewarming because you will be a homeowner. All right. So that's what our mission is today. And that's what our mission is every Tuesday. So if you are here, go ahead and hit that like button. Share with 5 people that you know would like to be a homeowner in the next year or two. Share with the next 5 people you know, family member, friend. If you love them, make sure that they know that this is going on and that they have access to this information. And go ahead and book a call if you have any specific questions we could answer. All right. So, Brother Mo, what do we have for the good people today?
For the people today, I always have to give my biblical principle for the moment, and what I wanted to touch on today is breaking the poverty mindset, and just breaking off the stigma that God doesn't want us to obtain wealth. There's a scripture in
Mm.
Oh yeah, let me go. So there's a scripture throughout the Bible talks about a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children and his children's children. That can be through finances, that can be through home ownership, that could be through knowledge and wisdom. Things are to pass down from generations to generation. So my question or my thought for you today is, if Jesus were to come back right now, if this was your last day, what do you have left to pass on to your children or even your children's children? Right? Do you have that inheritance set? Do you have that legacy built? And if not, I'm a firm believer it starts with home ownership. It starts with acquiring land. And that's another purpose as to why I'm so passionate about bringing this information to you every week, every month, every day, because I want you to be able to leave that inheritance for your children and your children's children.
Amen. All right. So, yeah, so that's a great way to start, brother. So, in
Mhm.
terms of leaving inheritance, what people are so more afraid of than or more concerned about is leaving debt.
Yeah.
We live in a society where people have just gone
Oof.
crazy when it comes to debt. Like we have trillions and trillions of dollars in debt, and that shows up for a lot of people as uh, in the form of bad credit. So, what we want to talk about today is starting from where you are, what we can actually do to accelerate your home buying journey so that credit is no longer an obstacle, but an asset when it comes to you.
Mm.
Okay. So, as you know, at this point, there are 5 factors that determine uh, your credit score. All right. And those factors are your payment history, your utilization rate, the length of credit, new credit, and credit mix. The pieces that actually have the most robust impact is when you make late payments or if you have high utilization. Those are the 2 things that for most people is the hurdle in front of you getting to your home and having better credit, right? So let's talk about the first one. Payment history is worth 35% of your score. So, as a future home buyer, what we want to do is make sure to put certain things in place to make the process you proof, right? Um, so, like, I set my alarm clock every morning because I know that if I leave it up to me, I'm going to really be hugging up on that pillow until I miss the time that I'm supposed to wake up. I make that process me proof, right? Um, I want to water the lawn, but I probably will forget. So I set up my irrigation system so that it's me proof, right? I set up my payments in advance because I'm going to get caught up with something else and I might forget to make my payments. So I set my credit up to be me proof, and I suggest you do the same. One way you can do that is by first and foremost starting by having all of your payments set to the minimum amount. If you automatically have the minimum amount coming out of your account every single month, we know for sure that at least you won't end up with lates on your credit. Now, with all of these credit card hackings going on, with people constantly have to get new cards or having to be uh, aware of what's going on with whether it's identity theft, I highly recommend that when you set up your automatic payments, that you should check in with your bank accounts every single week, at least every single week, because you want to make sure that nothing's happening that's going to throw you way off course, right? So now we're doing this one mechanism, setting up your automatic payments to ensure that the payments are guaranteed to be made on time. So that already takes care of the biggest equation, and it's not even a consideration at that point, right?
And I just want to throw in right there that there are several apps, like I mentioned previously when we talked about credit, Credit Karma, that you can link your accounts to, and it tracks the budgeting for you, keeps a record of that. So there are resources out there that will help you with exactly what Chad was sharing right there.
Right. So that gives you the ability to know where you are, right? Tracking your credit score. And then from there, it's going to help you to track your spending because you're going to know, okay, cool. These payments are set up and scheduled to go out this time. Now it's not a matter of you saying, oh, snap, I forgot. It's done already. You said it, you forget it, but you always review. So you can't really forget it. But
Yeah.
okay. All right. Now, one thing that I want to really emphasize, people who have low credit, they always want to run to credit repair. Credit repair doesn't fix your credit. No, credit repair does not help you to buy a house. We're looking at two totally different principles, two totally different philosophies that don't accomplish the same goal. And I'll tell you why. Because of variable number two, your utilization. Your utilization is how much credit you have available compared to how much of it you use, right? So if you have a $1,000 credit card limit and you only use $100, oh man, that space right here is where great credit lives. When you actually don't use what the maximum of what's available. The goal is to use 10% or less. We could live with 30% or less, but the goal is to use your credit and not have it use you. Because when it uses you, you're paying interest every month. When it uses you, you're always catching up trying to make sure these balances stay down. When it's using you, it's like a Ponzi scheme with your own wallet because you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, but Paul's charging you a whole bunch of interest. And if you don't do the right thing when you're supposed to, it's going to stop you from doing the things that you want to do, like buy a house. So I say that to say, when you establish the credit and you set up these payments to be made automatically, the next thing you want to focus on is keeping your balances down. And the best mechanism that I've used and I've actually had my clients use that really works well is the debt snowball method. So the focus is to pay off the smallest card first, eliminate that interest, and then go ahead and work on eliminating the second smallest card, followed by the third and the fourth. And the reason why I brought up credit repair is because it's not going to solve any credit utilization issues. And that's the majority of the issues that people face. Because think about it. If you want to buy a house and you're looking for help with credit, it's not because you don't have any credit at all or you only have collections. It's probably because you have higher utilization than is helping you. And when you learn to focus, instead of paying $100 a month or $1,500 for a credit repair company, use that money to lower your balances. So avoid credit repair at all costs because all credit repair does is it's a letter writing campaign that states that you have inaccurate negative information on your credit. But if the information is accurate, and the information is yours. You think these multi-billion-dollar credit bureaus and credit card companies don't know the simple tricks of the trade? Come on now. And then furthermore, if you really want successful credit repair, you're gonna have to risk your freedom because there are different things they're gonna ask you to do that can compromise your freedom. And if you know, you know. And if you don't know, don't find out. So the bottom line is that if you want to buy a house, go ahead and get committed to the process of reducing your debt and setting your payments on automatic payments so that your credit is automatically going to build in an automated fashion month by month without you having to touch it. Now, the third thing I want to talk about is a really powerful measure of of credit, which is the length of credit. And when I was 21 years old and I bought my first house, now I was always a cash man. I didn't really find a need. I didn't really want credit. I didn't need credit, right? Everything I was buying was cash. But when it came down to this house that came up as an opportunity, yeah, I needed to get some credit. So what I was able to do was my grandfather added me as an authorized user on his credit card. And when he did that, he actually put me on a credit card that was opened in 1982, a year before I was born. So, with all of his payment history for all of that time being impeccable, my credit score went through the roof and it made home ownership accessible to me. So, because I know it worked for me and it's worked for a lot of people since, that's something that you can consider working for you. And the key feature that I want to highlight is the length of credit, right? Once you establish credit, even if it goes through its ups and its downs, if the line of credit is still open, do everything you can to bring the balance down or pay it off, but do not close that account. I repeat, do not close that account. Even if you had 50 late payments over the last 3, 4 years, 12 months from now, it won't matter. 24 months from now, it won't matter at all because credit is very forgiving. And if you actually follow the principles of low balances and on time payments, it's only going to take you 6 to 9 months to pretty much heal any wound that you've had in terms of late payments. So keep that line of credit open and keep on working towards maintaining solid credit history over time. The last two pieces I don't really want to focus on because they're small and almost inconsequential, but that's new credit, meaning that you don't want to keep on applying for new lines of credit. You don't want to keep on having people run your score because it's going to show up on your credit, and those inquiries can reduce your score over time and with a certain amount of pulls. The last one is credit mix. Not a problem for most people because most people could really just get credit cards at this point. But as you mature in your credit journey, credit mix really highlights the point that you're diversified in how you utilize your credit. You're not all credit cards, you're not all car loans. You have credit cards, you have car loans, you have a mortgage. It's well mixed. It is something that could optimize your credit. But for where we are, we want to get you in the game. And more, these are things that really keep people paralyzed and
Right,
stop them from moving forward at all. So I want us to keep on incorporating different credit tools and tips as we go so
right.
people could overcome this mental barrier and really walk into home ownership.
Right. So that's perfect because I think some people do have fears around like not understanding like even what we all just explained just now in that regard about getting a home and having to deal with credit like one point you made about getting new credit, right? Some people think that they have to have certain established credit. Are there any particular types of credit that look better on reporting, like credit cards versus loans, car payments versus other kind of credit products? Are there any ones that kind of
Well,
stick out above the rest?
yeah, absolutely. So they actually have 4 tiers of credit cards. And I like to emphasize and focus on credit cards because, first and
Mhm.
foremost, you always want to buy the house before you buy the car. Because once you buy the car, that's going against your debt to income ratio and it's going to take away a lot of your purchasing
That's
power.
good.
So that's one thing that we want to keep in mind. But when we talk about credit utilization, of course, if you could get a mortgage, if you have a car loan, once you have the house and you have credit cards, that's worth 10% of your score. So that can help you to increase. But when you're establishing your credit to see the biggest boost, there are 4 levels of credit, right? So your first level and your lowest level of credit is like your your mall credit cards, right? Like if you
Mm.
go to a mall and they have like a little
Like
kiosk or a
Old
little,
Navy, like
those credit cards, yeah, those credit cards generally have the lowest reporting value, followed by like store credit cards, right? So when you have like your, my mom used to have a Macy's card, and I
yeah, I
remember
think
back
everybody's
in the
mom
day,
did.
used
Or
to,
JC Penney.
you know how they used to get you at Macy's?
Mm.
You used to have to go to Macy's to pay the Macy's bill, and while you're at Macy's, let me go ahead and pick this up too.
Yeah,
They used to get my mom and my grandmother, boy, they used to love their Macy's. But those
especially the
cards,
ones in New York.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's right. You know, yeah, that's right. They got more of like, but anyway, those kind
yeah,
of store cards have like the second lowest reporting value. The third lowest are like introductory credit cards, like not, like
secure
I would
cards
say,
and small
excuse
cards,
me.
like secure cards and
Well,
uh,
secure cards not necessarily, but like when you see Open Sky and cards like that, those are entry level credit cards where they could help you to establish credit. And they do report well. But the big daddy, the big dog, where you're going to see the biggest reporting and the most umph on your score are with your national bank credit cards. So
mm,
that means, of course, like your Fifth Third Bank, your Regions Bank, your Bank of America, so on and so forth. But I mentioned in particular Fifth Third Bank and Regions Bank because with secured credit cards, you're still going to get that same power because
mm,
that name is on that credit card, right?
right.
What you want to be mindful of when you're establishing new credit, and this is a major point, this is a major, major point. You want to get a credit card that is going to graduate. When you're establishing new credit and you're looking to get a secured card, you want to get a credit card that's going to graduate. And what that means is that when you put your money in that certificate of deposit, that CD account where they hold your money and they lend you money on those funds, you're going to be paying and building credit by paying interest on your own money. That's why it's so easy to be approved.
Mm,
But what a lot of banks have started to do is they go through the process of holding your money, and when they release the money back to you, they close the account. Or what is that going to do? It's going to impact the length of credit because now nothing's reporting anymore.
mm,
But what you want to do is look for a bank like Fifth Third or Regions Bank. There are a number of banks out there, but if you're looking to get a secured credit card, you want to make sure that the credit card graduates. So when they give you back your money after a year or 18 months, that same line of credit stays open unsecured.
mm.
So it graduates from being secured to unsecured without you having to restart that credit journey.
Okay. I do have a question. That made me think of a question for you. What would you say is the biggest myth when it comes to, credit and home ownership? Like,
That's a
what do
good
you,
one.
yeah, what do you find? Like, people maybe have this thought or bring this up, and you're like, no, that's completely not it.
Well, first off, what I would say is if you are actually in the space where you are looking to build your credit and you're looking to gain access to home ownership, go ahead and book a call. Hit the QR code right here in the top left corner. Schedule a call with myself or Maurice, and we'll be able to work you through your credit for free. There is no cost. It's absolutely free for us to work on your credit. But when we do it, what you're going to see is that it's not going to cost you any money, but you're going to get the direct path to getting your credit right without having to pay any crazy fees. So it's a game changer. But the biggest misconception
Hmm.
goes right to that point that you need to do credit repair. The last thing you want to do is credit repair. Why? Because if you look at the reviews, almost every credit repair company out there has crazy low reviews because they can't give you what they promise you, or they can't give you what the assumption is. The assumption is you sign up and credit is fixed for you. That's like having somebody fixing your marriage for you. It
Yeah,
can't work. You got
you
to
gotta
do
do the
the
work.
work. And in this case, a lot of people think I need to have a 700 score to be able to buy a house. No, you don't. Technically speaking, you only need a 580 credit score. So
Mm,
you could buy a house with
that's good.
poor credit. So I don't want the credit to be a barrier. We want you to be as financially healthy as possible to move forward, but it's not a barrier. It's not a barrier. And if you have any questions about other things that you heard of, or you just call us, set up
Hmm.
a call, and we'll be able to go through all of those ideas that are standing in your way. And again, another huge misconception that's not credit related,
Yeah.
but people think they need 20% down to buy a house. No, you don't. You could buy a house with 3.5% down or even 3%. And furthermore, you can get down payment assistance so that you come up with almost nothing, or in some cases, nothing. We do it all the time. If you look at some of our testimonials on my page, you'll see clients that close with no money on a regular basis. So don't let the idea of a high credit score stop you because you just need to have medium credit, just mid, right? Don't let the idea of a high down payment
Mhm.
stop you because you don't need but 3% or 3.5% to move forward.
Perfect. Because that made me think of you kind of answered the question because you talked about like the credit score and then which is a good segue to talking about the down payment assistance because I know we're about to shift over to that. But what I was going to ask was, do we think that credit is like the biggest thing holding people back? Like, what do you think the biggest fear? Like, they don't think their credit is where it need to be, their income, their savings. What would you say is like the biggest like fear?
Yeah, I think mentally and emotionally is definitely credit.
Mm,
But in reality, credit is the easiest thing to move up and down like a yo-yo.
yeah.
If you use up your credit cards, your credit score is going to drop. You pay off your credit cards, your score is going to go up. You had a bunch of late payments, your score is going to go down. You stop making late payments, your score is going to go up.
Mm,
So that's what people think, but it's actually the easiest area for us to see improvement. The biggest real challenge is the income. And income, ooh, this is so important. This really hits a nerve for me because I work with so many people. Majority of my business is women, probably 80% women because men are too stiff-necked and stubborn. We are, brothers. We guys, every man knows it all. Oh, yeah, I know about the credit. I know how to fix my credit.
yep.
6 years later. Yeah, son. I know how to do and still got trash
Still
credit.
not homeowner.
I mean, I'm only saying that because I'm one of y'all. I have my stubborn ways in other areas of life, right?
Yeah,
But
I'm the rare one that does it right the first time.
right, the biggest thing is the income
Mm,
because the income is going to directly impact how much of a house you could afford on paper and in reality, right?
right.
Because would ideally love to have your housing expenses only equal 28% of your gross annual income. But the reality, or your gross monthly income, but the reality is housing is so crazy that what you're paying for rent, in most cases, you might as well tack on a few $100s and own your own house. But with
Right.
the income piece, the challenge is it directly reflects the issue that we're having, especially in Black communities, of working together, community, family, a lot of the women that I deal with are single mothers or single women, or they have a man that's just, things aren't, and vice versa. We get it on both sides. We have to look at the bigger picture because let's say that you and your significant other have a 5 year run where everything works and then the bottom falls out.
Right.
If you're responsible and you're mature, if you go your separate ways after 5 years, guess what both of you guys leave with? Bread. Leave with equity. Someone stays with a house. Nobody leaves assed out. Nobody leaves with the total L. Now, you might not get the marriage or the long term relationship that you wanted, but if
Hmm.
you keep your head about you, at least you end up with a house that
Right.
could be a launch pad for one person to get another house and a place of security for one person. Or you could sell it and everybody do their thing, but you're walking away with bread after 5 years. 90% of the chance, 90% chance, right? If not
Right.
more. Because over time, properties increase in value, but we're standing on the outside of home ownership because we can't come together.
Hmm.
We can't, and we got to. And if you're self-employed, you need to find somebody that is a solid W-2 earner for y'all to sync up and buy a house because the price of housing is going up. And as long as we can't fix these interpersonal relationships to come together and make things happen, we're going to stay renters in perpetuity. Because this time next year, you better expect prices are going to go up. And
Mhm.
watch when the interest rates drop. When interest rate drops, the prices go up. So don't say, oh, I'm waiting for the interest rate. Nah,
Mm.
get in now so that when the interest rates drop, you get to refinance
Yeah.
instead of now going to the Hunger Games to try to get a house because that's what it was like 2, 3 years ago, three,
Yeah.
4 years ago. Property goes on the market. If you're not there in the first 15 minutes, you lost it. If you're
Yep.
not hitting 20,000 above market, you lost it. So yeah, we got to get together. This is a deeper conversation about being able to.
Yeah,
Um,
we probably should do an episode on that. Just because even in like not even just coming together as a community, but trusting our community.
true
Like when we shared it like a while ago, what we present this information and they take the information and they go somewhere else with it, and then they try to do it on their own when they had this step by step team that was here to back them. And the next thing you know, like you said, 2 3 years later, they still struggling trying to figure it out.
word. And to be honest, I used to take it so personal, man. I
Mhm.
pour my heart into every client that I work with. I'm gonna give you my all. Book a call, you'll see. Just in that one call, I guarantee you value that you're gonna be like, yo, I'm glad I made this call. So go ahead and schedule, right? But
Yeah.
what I realize is that I'm committed to serving, I'm committed to sharing, I'm committed to coaching. I'm not committed to the result.
Mm.
Not attached to the result. So I'm gonna pour out everything, and all we can do is give what we got. And at that point, it's on you to make the right move. But thank God people normally see that with my heart of
Right.
servitude that they run a rock with me all the way through, and that's the blessing. But when they don't, I used to be so mad. But
Yeah.
I know every time I gave all I got.
And that's all we could do. That's all we can do.
That's all we could do.
Yeah. And speaking of giving all we got, I know we're getting close to the end here, but we really want you guys to understand the importance of what's out there. And I'm talking about hometown heroes. We talked about the credit and getting you guys squared away. And hopefully we let you lifted some of that fear away of the credit process because your score can go up with the right strategy up X amount of points within a month, right? But in that month time frame, you have resources like Hometown Hero, and I'm about to give it over to Chad here so he can really break down in depth what exactly it is and how do we go about that because it's through central, especially if you're in Central Florida. You definitely want to get this information, or if you know somebody that's a homeowner, you want to get this information.
Yeah, man. I have to say that, and you could zoom in on me on this one for this one.
Yeah. Come close, come close.
Come close, come close. Come here, guys. Come here, come here. Let me tell you something. Um, I had a conversation today, and I said, "Hey, listen, got to get ready. Hometown Heroes is here, and it's a great opportunity." And the person said to me, "But I got to pay that money back. Why would I want to take this thing if I have to pay it back?" And I said, "Here's the big difference with Hometown Heroes. What you're doing is you're using OPM, other people's money. Other people's money is how people become rich, how people become wealthy, because you're using OPM to get a mortgage as it is. So whether you put down 5% or 20%, that 80% is somebody else's money. So in this case, you're going to use the state of Florida's money at 0% interest. And you're not paying it back with the hard earned cash from your pocket, but you're paying it back with future yields on your equity. So you get into a house without having to front that money. Instead, keep it. You could actually put it towards other investment opportunities in the future. But what the state of Florida is doing for you is they're giving you up to 5% on your next home, up to $35,000 for you to start the process of building wealth. And when you gain some wealth and you decide to sell that house or to refinance, you just give it back. But what it allows you to do is if you are gainfully employed in the state of Florida, but by a Florida-based company, that doesn't mean that they have to only be in Florida. But as long as they have a physical location in Florida, you're able to get this money to jumpstart your home buying journey. So instead of having to wait years and years and years to save $15,000 to buy a $300,000 house, you could have the state of Florida be your partner who you pay back after you've gained so much money in equity. It's an absolute no-brainer. And the beautiful part about it is that when it first came out a few years ago, it was only reserved for our first responders, our educators, and people who serve people. But now it's open to anybody that works in the state of Florida. And here's the caveat: you have to have a 640 credit score, and you can't make more than $150,000 a year in most areas. But if you do make that much, then you don't need it anyway. But it's a great opportunity. And I really recommend that you take the time to schedule a call with me now so that, let's say you're not ready today, we could prepare you for a year or two out so that when this moment comes back, you'll be ready to have the state of Florida be your partner and give you a 0% interest loan on money that you don't have to pay back until you're good and ready to sell or good and ready to refinance. So take this opportunity, take this blessing, and just because you have to pay it back doesn't mean that you're losing anything. You're actually gaining. You don't pay back the state of Florida until you win. So look out, Hometown Heroes hits July 1st. So if you are on the market to buy a house, reach out to me now so that we can get you prepared, get you pre-approved, and get you lined up to get this money before it's gone. Because when it's gone. And we'll have to wait a whole nother year before we could have that 5% down payment and closing cost assistance help you to get to your next home.
When you said that, it made me think of that old South Park clip when he was at the bank and he was like, some son has transferred the money and it's gone. He said, "Where's the money?" He went to the bank. He was like, "Yeah, I just
Yeah,
move the money around and put it in other place and it's gone."
there
That's how
you
quick
go.
it's gonna go. So I got
That's
to
how
drop that.
people
I'm gonna
gonna
drop that.
go.
If you following, I'm gonna drop that clip in like my stories or something. But
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
gonna be just that quick. That's why
Yo,
That's
give
why
me
we've
that.
been
Let me
going
get that too,
nonstop.
bro. I will definitely post that. I'll be definitely post that. That's
Yeah,
hilarious. Yo, South Park is a genius show. It's
man.
crazy as hell, but it's funny. It's smart.
That with Family Guy.
Family.
They're ahead of their times and stuff.
That's my
But that's
guy. Yeah,
another topic for another day.
yeah.
That's a topic for another day. But
But,
it has been a
can
awesome show.
you
Oh,
go?
what's anything you wanted to close out
Yeah,
with?
before we go, can you just like take 2 minutes to share about what we're doing with Homebuyer Academy and um, what we're doing and how
Mhm.
it's impacting people?
Yeah. So right now we are expanding.
A little closer.
You said, oh yeah. Come close, come close, come close. So right now we're expanding Home Buyer Academy. We're looking to impact our community. Right now we've been going after churches and we're expanding to organizations and schools and really trying to bring this information to anyone that it can help because we firmly believe that simply by knowing more, you can do more. That's how we can make a great impact. That's how we can elevate our impact through Home Buyer Academy. So we have Tuesday night the Tuesday night meetings here. We have our lunch and learns that we're launching. We have our workshops that we're doing. It's a lot of things that are happening in with Homebuyer Academy. So if you are part of an organization, simply want to get more information on how we can bring this information to your staff, to your organization, to your company, to your church, wherever you work, we probably can get in there, bring this information to you. And again, we set it up at no cost to you. All we need is a moment of your time to share what we have for you guys. And through this information, you guys will be equipped, knowledgeable, and ready to become homeowners.
It's good stuff. Can't go wrong.
Hmm.
So, yeah, thank you so much for all you do, bro.
Thank you, sir.
Maurice is an amazing mindset coach, and it's like, that's the biggest barrier. Is really the mentality. So
Hmm.
when you are ready to at least take that first step, go ahead and schedule a call with us, and we'll take you the rest of the way.
All right.
Right up there.
Yep, right up here. So thank you guys for joining us on another Tuesday night. Make sure you join the 2025 Home Buyers Club. Invite about 5 people to join up, and make sure you catch us next week and every week, or go watch the playback. That way, you can always be up to date with the latest in the home buying market. You want to close us out with anything, Chad?
Nah, man, I'm just grateful to be here again, man. And we're looking forward to helping as many people. So raise your hand, go ahead and book that call, and I can't wait to catch you on the other side.
Hmm. All right, I'll catch you guys next week.
Peace.